Karl Goser is a German professor of informatics. He writes on the differences between machines and biological systems. Machines cannot receive information from a transcendent world. The software here has kind of messed it up. It's okay. I'm telling you. So, in this way, we arrive at yet another school of psychology, Carl Gustav Jung. In the first half of the 20th century, Jung proposed that our minds are connected to a non-personal part of our psyche, the collective unconscious, out of which forms appear spontaneously in our mind, influencing our imagination, perception, and thinking. He called these forms the archetypes. In order to be able to live, to give meaning to life, human beings constantly need to reach into the realm of forms. In every human being, the archetypes are found at every time and in every place as a matrix of potentiality, of inborn imagination, thoughts and behaviors. Archetypes form a realm of potentiality. It is difficult to avoid the impression that the realm of forms that Jung discovered, the realm of forms that the quantum phenomena reveal, are one and the same realm of cosmic potentiality, the medium of cosmic spirit. This makes the background of physical reality numinous and mind-like. So, as a structure of reality, we have to think there's a realm of numinosity, potentiality, and actuality. Indeed, if the nature of the universe is that of an indivisible wholeness, all things have emerged out of it and belong to it, including our consciousness. This non-classical coherence of physical reality has led countless physicists to a remarkable conclusion. Since our consciousness has emerged from this wholeness and belongs to it, we must think that an element of consciousness is active in the universe. Spirit or consciousness is a cosmic property. Arthur Stanley Eddington is or was an astrophysicist. He wrote in the 30s of the last century, "The universe is of the nature of a thought or sensation in a universal mind." His colleague, James Jeans, we have to consider mind as the creator and governor of the realm of matter. For contemporary psychology, psychiatrist Brian Lancaster, our next speaker here, has summarized this view in the following way. Consciousness amounts to a fundamental property, irreducible to other features of the universe, such as energy or matter. Sri Aurobindo, the Indian sage of the early 20th century, he writes about his own teaching. The teaching of Sri Aurobindo starts from that of the ancient sages of India, that behind the appearances of the universe, there is a reality of being and consciousness, a self of all things. All beings are united in that one self and spirit, but divided by a certain ignorance of their true self and reality in the mind, life, and body. The potentiality forms of quantum physics revive the ancient idea of forms as metaphysical principle of being. The Pythagoreans were the first in the West to suggest that number is the arche of all things. Johannes Hirschberger, the German philosopher, writes, "Thus, the principle of all being is no longer seen in stuff, but in form." The formalistic perspective takes physics right into the center of historic traditions of spirituality. Potentiality waves are pure, non-material forms in which matter has abandoned itself. In Aristotle's metaphysics, there was only one pure form, God. Similarly, the actualization of the empirical reality out of the realm of potentiality is like an emanation out of a wholeness that is one. In the metaphysics of Plotinus, God is the one. The world is not a creation of the one, but an emanation due to a necessary flowing over of the divine. The one is all, he wrote. All is out of the one. In the metaphysics of Augustinus of Hippo, the eternal forms function as the lasting and immutable essence of things. He believed they existed as thoughts in the mind of God. Johannes Hirschberger on Hegel. Human thinking, where it is truth and accurately connects with reality, is the thinking of the cosmic spirit himself, who creates the things by thinking them. Man knows of God, writes Hegel himself, only insofar as God knows of himself in man. This knowledge is God's self-consciousness. The spirit of man, to know of God, is just the spirit of God himself. In Hegel's philosophy, absolute spirit is the primary structure of reality. Everything that exists is the actualization of this structure. In his absolute idealism, spirit is everything, creates everything, thinking and being, subject and object, the real and the ideal, the human and the divine. All are one, and it is the cosmic spirit himself who is thinking in us. Like in a never-ending prayer, the fascination with God, Brahman, Weltgeist, Nous, Logos, cosmic consciousness, whatever the name is that people choose, it has been a permanent obsession of the human mind. It is a sign of perennial philosophy. And now, out of the research efforts of atheist scientists, signs of spirit emerge in physics. Somehow we were spat out of the wholeness. We have the feeling of a loss. This is the biblical story of the eviction from paradise. But paradise is not a garden of sensual pleasures, not a land of plenty, but the non-material realm of the mind-like wholeness of reality. We have a longing to return. It is the basis of all mystical experiences, of our spiritual needs, and of the desire to lead a virtuous life. Here you see that we are led into the realm of ethics, where the holistic character of physical reality suggests a very specific way of life. Our mind makes pleasurable all behaviors that bring us in contact with the One. Everything that is good strengthens the communion with the One. Love, charity, kindness, sincerity, all traditional moral values are unifying principles and lead us closer to the One. They allow us to act in the spirit of the One. Everything that is evil destroys the communion and leads away from the One. Greed, hatred, vengefulness, deceptiveness, violence, they are destructive principles. The evil person, wrote Plato in Gorgias, leads a robber's life, outside of any community, such a one is the friend neither of God nor man, for he is incapable of communion, and he who is incapable of communion is also incapable of friendship. But communion and friendship bind together heaven and earth, and gods and man. In the mechanistic, materialistic worldview of classical physics, ethical order was completely disconnected from physical order. David Hume's famous expression, "What ought and ought not to be done cannot be deduced from what is and is not the case." In contrast, in the wholeness of the quantum reality, it is possible to propose that to live in accordance with the cosmic order is a cardinal value on which one can base a system of ethics. We have discussed this in more detail in a paper I recommend to you, which is such a beautiful paper because Diogo Valada Spont has added many, many wonderful ideas to it. Plotinus wrote about the wholeness of reality. Often, when I wake up out of my body to myself and step out of the otherness into myself, I behold a most wonderful beauty. It is then that I believe in the strongest to belong to the greater destiny and bring about with my force the perfect life, and have become one thing with the divine, and lift myself above all the perceptible. The Gospel of Thomas. His disciples said to Jesus, "On what day will the kingdom come?" Jesus said, "It will not come by expectation. They will not say, 'Look here,' or 'Look there.' But the kingdom of the Father is spread out on the earth, and men do not see it." Why do they not see it? It's the trans-empirical realm of reality. Many will find such thoughts scandalous. However, we should have the courage for an enlightened and liberated science that does more than serve stockholder equity. Like the meridians as they approach the poles, Teilhard de Chardin wrote, "Science, philosophy, and religions are bound to converge as they draw nearer the whole." In the early years of this century, a rather aggressive and ugly controversy raged through France. It was between an atheistic, materialistic public and scientists who claims there is more to reality than materialism. In this situation, we published a manifesto that was printed in Le Monde in 2006. And it starts by saying, religious or metaphysical ways of thinking should not a priori interfere in the ordinary practice of science. However, it is legitimate, indeed necessary, to reflect a posteriori on the philosophical, ethical, and metaphysical implications of scientific discoveries. This is the spirit of perennial philosophy. We should stop thinking in boxes and think instead in accordance with the union of knowledge in the wholeness of reality. In the end, I have the courage to amend one of Immanuel Kant's timeless statements. I think you will forgive me. Two things fill my mind with ever-increasing admiration and reverence, the more I think about them: the miracle of my consciousness and its covenant with the consciousness of the universe. Thank you very much.